Yeah, Trump actually said that what they did by merely reiterating what is established military, a military ideal, a practice, a policy, that it was treasonous.
Yes.
And that they should be, I think he said they should be court-martialed and executed. I mean,
Yes. That's
what
nuts,
kind
man.
of madness is that?
Alrighty, welcome back. Alabama Politics This Week. Josh Moon, David Person, and our thanks to Seth Levi, our thanks to Tabitha Eisner, thanks to the folks at Wind Creek Entertainment for continuing to sponsor and helping us out. We really appreciate them, as likewise the Southern Poverty Law Center. Really appreciate those guys and for sponsoring and for all the work they do, and same for Wind Creek folks. It's we've got some really good people working here. We're gonna get out kind of quick because come on, how much more do we need to give you people? There's only so much that David and I can do.
Today.
I mean, it's just ridiculous. I mean, we give. But we did want to get into the bonehead of the week here, and that is the Department of Justice under the leadership of Pam Bondi. Which I don't know why we would have suspected it was going to go any different than what it is, really. I mean, it's the same person that covered up the Trump scandal with the university down in Florida in exchange for some cash. So, why would we expect things were going to go differently? But this week we had how many grand juries now have refused to indict people that they have put up there?
I heard a report that
charts.
was about six, at least six, I think.
It was six this last week.
Six?
It was the six Democrats this week. I know that.
Well,
no.
I'm saying altogether grand jury.
Oh,
attempts.
grand juries. Yeah, six different grand juries.
Grand juries. I think there's been like six attempts to get grand jury failed attempts.
Yeah, because they had
what was it? The Trump agenda. Somewhere.
I mean, they've done this with a number of people now that they've tried to prosecute, and obviously political prosecutions. I mean, it's all. I mean, it's so. I mean, he says it on social media, and then they go out and try to prosecute the people, and it's ridiculous. And do you know how hard you've got to screw up for a federal grand jury not to indict the people that you're trying to indict? I mean, you know how flimsy your case? You could. It could be a ham sandwich.
And the reason they say that is because the prosecutors are the only one presenting the information. There's no defense.
Nobody else in the room.
Yeah, it's like so that's why they say it's so easy. But that's also, I guess in this case, it has come back to bite Bondi and the DOJ in the butt, because what they had to present was so weak that even the grand jury was like, you can't convict these
Mark Kelly,
Democratic Mark Kelly and Slotskin and the rest of them for merely repeating the code that is actually on the walls at West Point, which is, you cannot follow illegal orders.
Yes. Yeah. Honestly, man, what's so I want to say funny, but it's not funny. I mean, maybe disgusting would be a better word. What's so disgusting about it is they were simply saying to these people, hey, don't follow. You do not have to follow. As a matter of fact, it's in your oath that you took to not follow an illegal order that's given to you. And then the prosecution of them is an illegal order given to somebody, I mean, you're in this process trying to do this thing illegally, claiming that they're the ones that's doing something illegally by simply telling you what the law is. And you're arguing, by telling what the law is, they're just overstating, this as a means to discourage people from doing their jobs when it's not necessary, when clearly it's necessary.
Yeah, Trump actually said that what they did by merely reiterating what is established military, a military ideal, a practice, a policy, that it was treasonous.
Yes.
And that they should be, I think he said they should be court-martialed and executed. I mean,
He's
What
nuts,
kind of
man.
madness is that?
He's nuts. He's nuts. I'll say this. All right. So there are these predictive markets out there. I don't know if you've seen these things. It's basically a way around sports gambling laws in a lot of states. But the predictive markets out there, they also allow you to gamble on a number of different things, politics as well. They were a big thing during the last presidential election. You kept hearing about the odds on who was going to be the president and stuff. It was driven by people betting on these predictive markets. And so what he has done has probably made my bet in the predictive markets a really giving me a real good shot at earning some sweet cash. It is some
really?
sweet cash. Yes, it is. Because I bet sometime back that Mark Kelly was going to be the Democratic nominee for president in 2028. And I'm still betting that Mark Kelly is going to be the Democratic nominee for president in 2028. I think he is exactly the sort of person that we should nominate. The military history, the background, the standing up to Trump, he's not, way far left. He's certainly not, I wouldn't call him necessarily a real moderate. I think he's more so on the left than he is, as a moderate, what people would call, but he's not crazy, and I think he's a very attractive candidate for a lot of people in the middle right now. And I think he's a very attractive candidate for Democrats because of a lot of the stances that he's taken. And I just think that what Trump has done now has given him a real boost. And I think that it's probably going to be something that carries through because Mark Kelly's not a crazy person, and he's going to be he's going to be a rock solid guy that you can rely on. I like him a lot. But I know that there's going to be some challenges, but this prosecution though of him for simply, I mean, it's such a fantastic juxtaposition of who you want to be and what we are now,
and what true leadership is, Josh.
Yes.
I mean, this is a guy who has been on the battlefield. He's been in outer space. I mean, and then of course his wife, God bless her, and what she went through. I mean, this is the kind of person whose backstory is compelling. And yet, as you said, or alluded to, he comes across really as sort of an everyday kind of guy. I would, I could support a Mark Kelly presidency. I could wrap my arms around that. In fact, what I think might be really interesting is if we could pair Mark Kelly with Wes Moore, the governor of Maryland, who also has a military background and also comes across as this sort of likable guy. If they were in some combination, if Kelly was the presidential nominee and Wes Moore was the vice presidential, man, I think they could actually. They could pull it off. I think they could.
I think they could. I think that would be a fantastic. There are a lot of good candidates. Let's be honest. There are a lot of good candidates out there. And I look forward to having a good debate over those.
Yeah, but back to your point about Kelly, what I like about it is, you can't indict him for his background. His background is just so strong. I don't know that anybody has the background of service that he does, other than maybe somebody like not even a Wes Moore, because Wes Moore hadn't been to outer space.
Yeah, man. I mean, listen, there's nothing really to knock Kelly on, and that's the thing about him. And I just think he's a good, solid conservative. Not conservative, a good, solid guy that's not as I'm trying to think of, he's not polarizing. Okay. That's the thing about Kelly. I think that I like, and really look, back in 20, that was the thing that pushed Joe Biden over the hump, and I've had my problems with some of the way Joe Biden handled things when he was president. And so I'm not necessarily using his presidency as a boost to Kelly, but I am saying that it was, he was a solid leader. In Biden. And I think Kelly is even more so that. And I think that sort of, what it gives you? You know what it gives you again? It gives you a guy in the White House to look up to. You know,
Yeah,
I mean,
absolutely.
it's an
Absolutely.
aspirational guy. It's a, hey, look, here's a guy that, he was in the military, he flew the missions, he was then became an astronaut.
Hmm.
It's just such a fantastic story for kids. It's almost, it's
Absolutely.
not equal to in any way the Obama story of what was overcome and what it meant to the country and what it meant to
Well,
so many
that
Black
was very
Americans.
unique. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, it is along those same lines of
Hmm.
of hey, here's this inspirational story that you could
Hmm.
look to and tell kids, hey, look, you can be whatever you want to be. Look at this
Yep.
guy.
Yep.
So, all righty. Well, I think that's it for us. We're gonna get out of here. Until next week, y'all be safe.
Peace.